The false allure of victimology. That's the focus of tonight's angle. After seeing your really strong reactions to last night's show about how universities are breeding grounds for victimhood and manufactured anger, we thought it was important to expand on this theme tonight. And given today's developments on a number of stories, this conversation we're going to have on the Ingraham angle tonight is more important than ever. The superintendent of the Chicago police was visibly, understandably outraged by what his department and the community has endured because of Jussie Smollett's fabricated hate crime.
But when we discovered the actual motive, quite frankly, it pissed everybody off, because we have to invest valuable resources. A lot of what I want you all to really understand is when you all put things out there into the universe that's not actual facts, then it causes us to have to chase all that stuff down. Those are resources and time spent that we'll never get back.
Oh, well, that's all well and good, I guess, but poor Jussie. Making a boatload of money per year, it looks like he was driven to this by his warped view of celebrity income inequality.
This announcement today recognizes that Empire actor Jussie Smollett took advantage of the pain and anger of racism to promote his career. And why? This stunt was orchestrated by Smollett because he was dissatisfied with his salary.
Now, what drove Smollett, a supporting actor on the Fox show Empire, to think that this stunt, this victim narrative that he'd been assaulted by MAGA hat-wearing thugs, would get him a pay raise? Well, probably because he had seen others profit from the same routine and never get penalized. There has been a long line of celebrity victims in recent years, people known only for their self-proclaimed victimhood. There was Colin Kaepernick, who, after staging his kneeling protests and disrupting the entire sport of football, claimed he was being victimized by NFL owners who were keeping him from playing just because of his activism.
Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. So don't ask if your dreams are crazy. Ask if they're crazy enough.
Well, of course, he got a multi-million-dollar Nike contract and a hefty NFL settlement out of the whole deal. So you see, victimhood pays. And then, of course, there was Christine Blasey Ford. Like Smollett, Ford turned on the drama for the cameras. And even when her charges didn't hold water, no substantiation, she was still invited by Sports Illustrated to be an awards presenter before the glitterati.
I am honored to speak with you from afar about a woman I admire so much. Rachel Den Hollander, I am in awe of you, and I will always be inspired by you.
Now, it's obvious for anyone capable of objective thought, if you're a liberal and you have an outrageous claim that implicates conservatives or President Trump, what do they all stand for? Well, you'll probably get national attention. You'll get high-profile interviews. You'll be on magazine covers. And, of course, you'll get a lot of money. Blasey Ford made out like Batman, raking in over $800,000 via a GoFundMe account. It was all for her security. And for a politically active, Trump-hating minor celebrity like Jussie Smollett, the lesson was learned. Victimhood pays, and often handsomely. Crying racism would be his ticket to fame and fortune. Heck, it beats playing second fiddle to Taraji Henson on a show whose ratings were already on the downslope.
Get out. Who do you think you're talking to?
So he decided to write his own new role, where the character would be someone important, a moral crusader on a mission to warn the whole country about the dangers of Trump. Now, the absurd details of this phony attack confirmed all of the worst, most toxic of left-wing caricatures of Trump followers. That they're this new breed of Klansmen waiting around the corner of every major city to assault and lynch black and gay liberals. So suddenly it was like 1955 in Birmingham all over again, kind of like a really bad Spike Lee film or something. And then when the fantasy came crashing down and police began to discover the lies, the real truth, well, the pair of brothers buying supplies, those Nigerian brothers, on the coordinated phone calls, the evidence was overwhelming that Smollett had committed a poisonous fraud on America. So naturally, Smollett's media cooperators blamed conservatives.
We're going to see conservative media probably play this up a bit.
Sean Hannity's going to eat Jussie Smollett's lunch every single second. Tucker Carlson is going to eat Jussie Smollett's lunch every single second.
President of the United States.
President of the United States is going to eat his lunch.
Unreal. So it's like heads they win, tails we lose. Trump supporters are guilty no matter what, no matter how egregious the underlying fraud. Doesn't matter. And it should not surprise any of us that today's Democrats cling to this victimhood narrative with a political death grip. After all, what do they have to do without it? You know, with their lame track record, how can they possibly convince African Americans that they're going to do better, be better off, and they're going to have their wages lifted up better, or they're going to have their neighborhoods safer, cartels are going to be kept out of their neighborhoods, gang members, MS-13 are going to be out of their communities. The Democrats are going to somehow be better at Trump at creating jobs? The answer is they can't argue any of that because they have no substantive arguments. But they can, and they do, sell victimhood. And for that, they have a lot of buyers. This is how Kanye West put it about a year ago in a pair of tweets. He said there was a time when slavery was the trend, and apparently that time is still upon us. But now, it's a mentality. Then he wrote, self-victimization is a disease. Well, you bet it is. Because when any of us cling to victimhood, we give away our power to solve problems and to better ourselves the old-fashioned way. It's through something called hard work. And it's important to understand the left strategy here. They'll use fabricated tales of victimization to divert attention from other inconvenient truths. Now, remember, it was Smollett who crashed in and took the focus off of Virginia Governor Ralph Blackface Northam. Of course, and his Lieutenant Governor, Justin Fairfax, who is accused by at least 2 women of sexual abuse. Boy, that Virginia story faded fast, didn't it? And now that Smollett's anti-Trump drama has blown up, the media has jumped on the story of that whack job Coast Guard lieutenant who wanted to murder Democrat politicians.
This is now the second time that we know about, from the pipe bombs to yesterday. It's exactly what Donald Trump is encouraging.
Words are cheap to him, but they have cost elsewhere. You look at this man, and he's hearing that the media is the enemy of the people.
And we all know the recent history of violence propelled in some part by the president's rhetoric.
Again, this is so predictable, it's almost boring. But notice that when conservatives are truly victimized, physically attacked, when conservatives are actually targeted and shot for their political beliefs, like Congressman Steve Scalise, the media, they have no time for that. It's as if it never happened. In fact, Nancy Pelosi admonished Republicans against laying blame on Democrats for that attack.
I don't even want to go into the President of the United States, but in terms of some of the language that he has used, when you have all the assaults that are made on Hillary Clinton, for them to be so sanctimonious is something that it didn't used to be this way. Somewhere in the 90s, Republicans decided on a politics of personal destruction as they went after the Clintons, and that is the provenance of it, and that's what has continued.
Well, and despite the shooter's devotion for Bernie Sanders, conservatives didn't rush in to connect the Vermont senator to the shooting, nor did they try to link Smollett's criminal actions to his political heroes, Barack Obama and Maxine Waters, because to link them would be unfair, and it would be just plain stupid. But many anti-Trump partisans in the media felt obligated to connect Donald Trump and his supporters to a story that was ludicrous from the get-go.
What he said happened to him
sort of fit in with a not a narrative, but a reality for a lot of people in this country since President Trump was inaugurated.
You think about what just happened to Jussie Smollett in Chicago. Unfortunately, we have racism germinating from the White House.
If you are in a position of power and you hate people and you want to cause suffering to them, what do you think is going to happen? And people are going to be beaten on the street.
Well, the modern Democratic movement has abandoned the optimism and the idealism of John F. Kennedy, people like Patrick J. Moynihan. And now its activist core peddles nonstop anger and resentment. So in a decade, just a short decade, they've gone from hope and change to hate and rage. And when 2020 comes around, I somehow doubt the message of "you're a victim" will beat "let's be victorious." And that's the angle.